Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Jez7780. What grinds my gears? I am back, episode 58. I've been real busy the last couple of weeks. I jumped on a couple of podcasts last week and haven't done my own show in a while. I think it's been about 2 weeks. Feels like a long time. Did a little bit of streaming here and there, but definitely needed to jump on this thing and catch up with everybody. I see Socrates, the Coon 1985. Don't call me Danny. What's up, guys? Glad you're able to jump on in. Soundboard is here. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and I saw something hilarious, and I wanted to share it with everybody because I was laughing because it was pretty ass funny. And I'm going to show it on this stream. But let's see here. I just want to make sure I have my thing set up again. It's been a little rusty. I was getting my stuff set together, and then now I am back. Here we go. Here's the chat. Here you guys are. What's up, guys? I'll write my yo chat. I'm here. So I did a little summary on playing Xbox last week. I've been playing Days Gone. I've been seeing so much stuff going on with it, and a lot of things hit hard back when it first came out with the reviews, and the reviews were kind of lower than I thought. And in my kind of review, I'm about 7 hours into it. I still haven't got to the third camp yet. I've been just really liking the game. I've been doing tons of screenshots. I'm an addict for. I like photography, so I'm a big photographer. So I love photo modes. And I just love playing around with the aperture settings, depth of field, lighting, things like that. It's really fun. Like I kind of my son yelled at me when I was doing Spider-Man. He's going, "Stop doing the photo mode. Like, let's just play the game." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." But this, I'm just been loving the photo mode, just loving, really liking the world that they built in Days Gone. And I have to say, like, I think the review scores were a little lower than what they should be. I think it should sit from what I've been playing so far. So again, about 7 hours in, I feel that this game, I am not feeling a lot of the repetitiveness of missions. Like, I haven't really felt that. I feel like the story is unfolding, developing. I do agree. Oh, congratulations! Don't call me Danny. He got a platinum on Friday. I really like and I said one of the biggest things that I did like about the game, like one of the biggest things, yes, the photo mode, but like one of the things that I love is about Days Gone. Just my impressions of it is really the emergent combat. Oh, my audio's low. Hold on, I will increase my mic. Does that sound better? I increased my mic. Should be close unless my gain is down. Tell me if that's better. I increased the microphone sound. So one of the make sure it's not using my headset. That's messed up. No, it's not using my headset. It's using my mic here. All right, cool, man. So one of the things that I love about it, and the things I think Red Dead did this a little bit, was the kind of emergent kind of scenarios that occur when you're out in the wild. Like, you have to just do a certain mission. You have to go there, destroy a couple nests, or you have to go rescue somebody. And as you're going there, just random things happen. And the things that impact your motorcycle, whereas the gasoline and the repair status, depending on how crazy you drive, if you're slamming into stuff, it really impacts your journey there. And the things that happen, they set traps. Like there was one where I was driving down a path and I was gonna make a left, and I saw this rope in the street, and I just stopped right before the rope. And there were guys there to ambush me that if I hit the rope, it would knock me off my bike. And I stopped it before there, and I snuck around, and there were just guys waiting there with bats, like ready to ambush me. And I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. And I've been sniped, yes. Sam Ash, yes. I've been sniped off the bike. That happened a couple times. You just want to go take out the camp where the sniper is. It damages your bike when you hit the zombies. Like, you don't just run over them. The freakers, I'm sorry. You just run over them, and basically, you damage your bike. And you get some XP points, but it hurts your bike, which is really cool. So, like, you don't just go running over them, and then they jump and they can knock you off. And then you have to kind of, and they're pursuing, man. They follow you pretty, like, through the crowd. Like, they pretty much follow you, too. And It's really is crazy. Like they it really takes a while to have them untethered so they don't follow you anymore. But and when there's like 4 or 5 of them too, like it is definitely intense. Like it is not a Left for Dead type. Let's just mow down these guys unless you have great weapons and things like that, and explosives and things. Which here comes the crafting element and the looting aspect. And when you kill the guys, like you want to collect their ears so you could go cash it in and get money, and also you want to loot the people, like the camps that you raid, and if you find a couple of buildings, the detail of some of these buildings, these abandoned buildings, is ridiculous, and you go down and you just want to basically loot so you could craft, and I really like it. Like those are all the little things that are in between of the missions, and I do like how the missions are structured in the fact that they're little blocks of story and there's missions within it, and you say how much a percentage of the story is done, which is really cool because that it doesn't make you feel like here's the main and here's the side missions, and so the gameplay of it. I'm really liking it. I like the gameplay. I like the emergent kind of world. I feel like the world is living. There's animals all over the place. There, the wolves attack the freakers. They can attack the people. You could lure in bears. You could lure in the wolves. Elements of a little bit of Far Cry 5 and Far Cry 4, like those kind of elements where there's things in there. And Red Dead for some sense, but I do feel that this is much more um intense than Red Dead's kind of open world. I felt like there was a lot of kind of just open space not being utilized in Red Dead, and then you'll have a random marker. This one, I do feel the freakers are all over the place, and basically, they are all over, all over the land. And then you got guys that are going to ambush you. They're trying to take stuff from your bike. You got to hide your bike. Yes, Sam Ash. That's the other thing I want to mention. The dynamic weather. When you hear that thunderstorm, it does feel a little bit like The Witcher when a storm comes in. Like the wind blows all the trees and the storm actually comes. It doesn't automatically instant rain. Like it builds up, and then it could be an intense storm. It could be a passing shower. Everything gets kind of muddy. You kick off mud. You hear the squishing sound as you do that. Puddles build up. Haven't gotten to the snow. It hasn't snowed yet in my game, but yeah, the environment, the world, it looks really, really, really good, and it shows the power of of what happens when you make a game for specific hardware, software come together. It works, and the fact that you don't need the teraflops, seeing all the stuff with T flops and this flops and all these other flops, and it's just like it's just good software made for hardware, and that's what I like to see in exclusives. Like you want to see that kind of harnessing of the power. We've seen it with God of War, seen it with Spider-Man, and now sorry, I hit the mic. Now I see it with Days Gone. Like it's that polish. And oh yeah, I haven't come across a horde. I avoided the horde. I saw that horde and I was like gonna attack it, and I was like,
Don't do that.
don't run away because it is intense. Like they just have a mind of their own. They're just roaming around. I hid in the bushes, and I was just like, yo, I'm not let those guys see me, man. So I let them go by. But freakers were around the around this a base that I had to take out, and I just lured them into the base and let the guys fight them. And then as they're fighting them, a wolf came in and started attacking the freaker. I was like, this is crazy, and it is so cool, like how that stuff randomly happens. It's not just go there, kill a bunch of guys with arrows above their heads, and then mission solved. Like there's different elements of approach. Has a little bit of Far Cry in it. Days Gone, Far Cry, kind of mixed in that. I'm really enjoying it. Bugs, glitches, things that brought down the score in a lot of people's reviews. I haven't had anything. The only one little thing was that a texture did not load on a building and a car. That was about it. On one item, it was not in the game. Like it wasn't it wasn't PUBG style, for that thing. It was just basically a texture didn't load on the car and a building. But that's it. Audio sounds like, I think the voice acting, I do think the cutscenes are awesome. It is a little, I was talking to Frogs about this, I do think a little bit of the transition, after coming from that amazing way that Uncharted and, God of War has transitioned cutscenes into gameplay. I do, it is a little disjointed in this where the screen just goes black. and then all of a sudden we emerge in a cutscene, then it goes black again. Like that's the only kind of little nitpick that I would say from that game. Um, that I would say, because it's just like it takes you out, instead of having that smooth transition right into the cutscene, it kind of goes black. And the one other technical issue is the load times. When you first load up the game, it takes a while to load up into the game. But then when you're in the game, it only besides cutscenes, it doesn't really load any much. Like that's about it. And but I do think in the beginning it's kind of like, whoa, as long as that icon's spinning in the bottom, you're like, what happened to my game? Like they don't have like a slideshow or anything like that. It's just a complete black screen with a little like his ring spinning around the corner. I'm like, oh, okay, good. At least, and a progress bar shows up. Like at least I got something like that, because I'm thinking like, whoa, it's just like a black screen. But you know, I do think in aspect like, of the game, I think the game is definitely much higher than what it should have got rated so far. The story is building up. This story is building up. I like that. The side missions, I think that it's the same character model. That's the only one little cheap thing I think there. But like these random missions that happen where they're either being held up or they're in a cave or there was one side mission I could question mark that showed up in the game where as I was going to it, all of a sudden the question mark turned into X's, and I was like, oh shit, what happened? And then as I got there, a bunch of freakers came and killed the people I was supposed to save. And then once I lured them out of the cave, I went in the cave and there was a whole bunch of loot and stuff to get. Like it was pretty cool. Like it was like you're thinking you're going there to save somebody, and you're like, you didn't get there in time, and then actually freakers killed them. It's again, I'm always into that stuff. It's a living world, a living, breathing world, and I think they did a great job, building that. And I think that this game is a great starting point for a possible sequel that irons out a lot of the stuff and expands. Like I do think that this game is something that they could build upon, and this could be kind of like what Horizon did for Guerrilla. This might be due for Sony Bend. Like I do think. I do think that this game is a great starting point for it, and you can't. There's no crazy microtransaction crap. There's no, and it's refreshing. Like there's no microtransaction crap. There's no content coming in a season pass. There's no none of that kind of stuff. It's just a complete game with a whole bunch of content. A long game, from what I understand, a great narrative in an open world, which is hard to do. Usually you get these open world games, it's really hard to maintain a narrative, in the sense of that. Like it's hard to do that, but to keep that going and they make the missions relevant and not that you're just doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff. Of course, there is some kind of things like that. But I don't feel like an errand boy per se as much as I felt in Red Dead, where, I had something I wanted to do and everybody's like, well, if you do this for me, then I'll talk to you about this. And, there's some elements of that, but not as much as I felt like it was just an errand boy. And plus the dynamic stuff that continues on when you're moving through, between the missions, and the fact that you have to maintain your motorcycle. I think it's enough. Like, they could have really made it mundane, like shocks and wheels and tires blow out and things like. They could have really done that, but I think gas and maintenance with the end, I think those were just enough. In Red Dead, it was more of like, yeah, your horse is getting dirty. We got to groom him, otherwise he's not going to be motivated to gallop. And I'm like, what? I'm like, like that. I thought was a little. There was a little too much. There was a little too much of that.
To bad rubbish.
Yeah, enough of like that was a little too much of maintaining. You feed him, make him nice, you got pet him, and I know it's a living animal compared to a motorcycle, but they could have really went into, when I heard you had to like take care of the motorcycle, I was like, oh crap, is this gonna be like I gotta polish it, I gotta make sure the wheels are not gonna like burn out, like pop, stuff like that. But and it also, just like Don't Call Me Danny says, it also, plan out your trip. I do think Don't Call Me Danny makes a good point. I'm always looking at the map and not trying to be like, well, I gotta get. I'm like, oh, I gotta go there. I gotta make sure I have enough gas. Is there a gas station on the way? It's just, and it kind of takes you through the gas stations too to make sure that you're not just gonna be out in the wilderness. But you can screw yourself. Like you can like crash up your motorcycle, and basically crash up your motorcycle and have to kind of like find a town, find some gas or something along those lines. Like it's really cool in that aspect that you can screw with yourself if you've run out of gas and now you're stuck and it delays your kind of your focus if you don't plan out your trip properly. Um, oh, the carburetor is done. Find this rare item or buy it and save time. Yeah, and also too, I like that element with the different camps where you find these random missions and you send guys back to the camps or both camps take the same things. Like you could bring your bounties back to both camps, but where you cash it in makes the camp level up. So like it's pretty cool. So it's not like, well, there's your bicycle camp, there's your recruiting, like there's your other camp that does like meals and stuff like that. It's cool that the camps are set up the same way. They got the same things. So like depending on who you want to give your resourcing to that you found, that's the camp that levels up, and different camps give you different perks. Where the one I sent in the mission, I sent them to get my motorcycle leveled up, so now I can level up my motorcycle. But now my weapons don't get leveled up because the other camp was specialized in weapons. So I do think that those choice elements are pretty cool, and so far I heard, yes, it does have its own economy, and then you could send different workers to the economy, and then doing that it levels up the camp, giving better resourcing. Really cool elements. I can't complain saying that this game was this is a B tier game, or this is like a not a content. Like there's a lot of elements in there. There's a skills tree, there's progression with your character, there's a bunch of story and side missions. There's a whole different types of, there's all weapon crafting. You get spikes. I love the crafting on the fly. I always hated where you had to find like a working bench and craft at the bench, because then you're carrying a whole bunch of this extra content with you, and then sometimes you don't have it when you're at the bench to level up. I like just crafting it on the go. I also like too, like my bat, where I have the bat and then I could just craft into a spike bat once I have the blueprints for it. And then when you raid one of those narrow factories, like basically the speakers come on, you have to disconnect the speakers, otherwise they'll attract the freakers to you. And sound being an element too, with walking, your motorcycle being noisy, sneaking up to a base, parking your motorcycle gets knocked down. It takes time to pick it up. The lighting, like again, there's a lot of great things about this game, and again, I do think that some of its reviews, I think, was because of the its relationship to coming off God of War and Spider-Man, and this hype for the Sony first party. But I don't think this is any. This might be a little lower than that, but I don't think that this is a dud or anything like that. And hopefully people buy it, and hopefully Ben comes out with a new one, because I'm a fan of it. I do like it. I do think that it might. Yes, Sam Ash, I did the same thing. Like basically coast when you're driving down hills to save gas. Like it's so crazy. But I would like to see a new Siphon Filter game. Like that would be cool. We need a good spy game. I do think that's something that we really haven't had in a while. Splinter Cell really has been. Maybe they'll announce it at this E3. For Splinter Cell, but really we haven't had a good spy game. I guess Metal Gear, but that's really not a spy game, or like tech, like one of those kind of like spy kind of those type of games, like a spy type of shooting and things like that, and raiding into like some factory, like kind of like an assassin thing. But yeah, I agree, Sam. Like a lot of I saw those reviews and it seemed like it had an agenda. I think that it was a victim of kind of Sony Bend really doesn't have any kind of like too much console presence in the thing. I do think that, somebody said about the, I do think there was a lot of kind of PR with this game, and the fact that, I think it was an easy game to kind of give it a lower score because of kind of Ben's, like this is their first go round. What's up, Jeremiah? How you doing, man? With Ben's first go round, coming off those Game of the Year nominees, and now here's your next one, like this highest set of standards. I will say this now, that if this game was an Xbox exclusive, I think it would have got higher ratings, just because it doesn't have The Last of Us, which I think there was a lot of Last of Us lovers out there that they didn't want this game to be on the realm of The Last of Us. Like Last of Us is its own special thing. And I think I think because it has this company of these games of the year and The Last of Us, like similarities to it in the fact that it's the crafting and things like that. I do think that it was there, similar to like back in the 360 days. Like if somebody released a sci-fi first person shooter, and you're playing on an Xbox 360 and you got the home of Halo on there. I do think first person shooters were looked at a little more harshly because of the company of the exclusives. And I do think that that's something that I do think if a game like this came out and it was just on Xbox, I think that this would have been like something Microsoft and Xbox haven't done. And I do think that that would have been something like, I do think, but I do think that coming off of those games of the years, that it did get a little bit of a downswing. But again, the review it is what it is. Like, the review score and Metacritic and all the other crap. And I'm not gonna make excuses for low scores and stuff like that, like saying that they're liars or anything. But the way I look at it is the reason why, I saw so many people talking about this game and Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, and it's like, yeah, I didn't find Greg Van Doom. I didn't find anything wrong with that. Yeah, I saw that whole thing. Yeah, she definitely had some sort of. She probably wanted to put that stuff in her review, and then they actually told her, probably said, "Oh no, we're not going to put that kind of thing in there." And then she went to Twitter and said all this stuff, which kind of showed that she had some sort of bias to the game's connotations of the man, like of their relationship and how women were reflected. And you know what? A video game as of right now should not be, and I said this on, I forgot whose show it was, I was on something, but a game should not be a political statement. I understand it's a media, and it's a medium for media, like a song or a movie or something like that, but not everything needs to be kind of put into this political view and stuff like that. It's a video game. It's a form of entertainment. It's a method to focus on something that's not reality. It's to teleport you to something, to experience something that you probably will never experience in the real world. And hopefully we don't have like a zombie outbreak or anything like that. But that's what it is. It's not a PR statement. It's not something that's supposed to be like social reflect. Like it's not that. And people could take it, and just like if you read a book and you have some sort of like, oh, the author meant this and they were doing this, like, you know what, it is what it is. But it shouldn't affect the review score. Your personal and political views should not affect the review score or something like that. Like, unless this is more of if it's geared towards children, it has violence, then that's something that, oh yeah, content needs to be evaluated. But if it's like, oh well, this character is a male, this one's a female, I do think that's a little overboard, especially to influence review, because I don't know if developers are kind of trying to make in all these PR moves and being politically correct in all these things, because you can have satire and all that other stuff. So I don't know. I think that unfortunately, some of those things, I wouldn't say that's all the review scores did that, but I saw some of them out there that did that stuff, and I do think it was unfair. And I saw a lot of kind of comparing to Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, and especially State of Decay 2. I was so like, it brought State of Decay 2 back. Let me put this way, all right? For all the people that are like happy that this game was getting a low review score, and it's kind of sitting of where the recent Xbox games came out.
Tell you the truth, this guy's starting to get on
I'm
my
gonna say that
nerves.
it gets on my nerves, okay? Because they're in two different boats, okay? State of Decay 2 was a sequel to an Xbox arcade game. And now we're going to get Grinding Gears part. State of Decay 2 was a sequel to an Xbox arcade game. The first game was charming because it did elements of base building and things like that, but was glitchy and buggy as hell and had permadeath. The second game had a new engine made by the same developer, was revered as a AAA all the way,
Come on, don't bullshit me.
and released with the similar jank and bugs the first one had. Like, and it was a sequel.
No deal.
And it got a lower 60. It was lower in the 60s. Yes, it was co-op. The animations looked horrible. Like, please. They're two different types of games. State of Decay 2 was an indie game that Microsoft tried to put in the feather in its cap, just like what they're doing with Ori. Ori is... They all developed indie games, but because Microsoft doesn't have a long list of big AAA exclusive deals, they take these games and put them in their lineup because they're their get. And they're kind of victims of Microsoft's PR. And that was the biggest thing that I did not see with Days Gone. Days Gone was marketed as a mature game, and it was a mature presentation. There was no goofy stuff of people hiding in escape the room. There was no goofy things where, you know, Major Nelson pulled out white gloves, or Yoshida was pretending to get attacked by a bunch of freakers. Like, there was no goofy shit. Okay? It was presented. They had trailers during Endgame. That is marketing, okay? With Microsoft does, I don't know who they think their market is, and we say this every time we look at an Inside Xbox, but they take these games, Sea of Thieves, they had guys searching for Kraken, they shot the guy out of a cannon, they did the Escape the Room for State of Decay 2. Crackdown, they marketed Terry Crews, and he wasn't even in the game that much. But it just seems, and this is my whole thing, is that they have a disconnect with gamers. They have a disconnect with gamers. And when people see that marketing, that's why you joke about their games, because they pretend these games are something that they're not. And Sony kept its marketing professional. It kept it intense. It made people turn their heads. And it was basically, it treated the gamer with maturity. Rather than I'm like some like Mountain Dew 10-year-old going, "Ugh."
I don't think so, sucker.
So the marketing of the two games are totally different. And the Inside Xbox is a goofball show. It's a friggin'
You want to spend the rest of your life with your head up your ass? Be my guest.
Like, it really is. And I just was like, you know, I don't like being talked down to. I don't like being treated like an idiot. Thinking that because somebody came on there with a smile on their face that all of a sudden I'm going to like the game because Major Nelson decided to put on a tropical blue suit. So they got to mature up. All right? If they really want to be serious, they got to mature up and stop acting like goofballs. But this game was marketed as a mature game. It was marketed as something like a movie, just like a movie. And I think that goes a long way because people, the gamers are getting older, and it seems that Sony is growing up with their games. They know what their gamers want. Nintendo knows what their gamers want. They know showing a little orb of Smash Brothers, people will go collapsing all over the friggin' place. Microsoft, You know? The PUBG bus is kind of cool. Says some of you on the Spider-Man train. Yeah, I agree. Oh, PUBG marketing, don't even... Oh, I forget about that whole PUBG thing because that was marketing fiasco garbage. What's up, the finest man? How you doing? Yeah, that was marketing trash. That whole PUBG thing, putting a game that requires online that's still in preview, put that package with their best system, and don't even start with that shit. That was just trash. But Sony stuck to their guns. They kept building hype for this Days Gone, and it paid off. I enjoyed it, and I think, and I'm telling you, that is another thing. What helps, because when you present the game in in a really nice professional manner to people, or like you hype up a game and you show, you know, the graphics, you show the story, you have a little bit of story case scenarios and things like that. And that's what they did. Like, they marketed very, very smart. That when the review scores come out, people like, I do like what I see though. You know, I like this. I like what they're telling me with Deacon and his wife. I'm already kind of invested because of the trailers that they shown, because of the marketing that they did for the game. That now sometimes the review score doesn't hold as much weight. Whereas if you have a game that you haven't seen anything about, remember Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, those games were held on the hush hush. There was a gag order on State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2. People asking Greenberg, when are we going to get? He's like, marketing will start in May 1st. You know? And then it came out, and people were like, oh, there's a radius, there's a problem with the radius, and you know, you're tethered to your player, and you can't build your own base, and all that stuff started coming out right before the game came out. Microsoft wasn't showing these games. They didn't have really cool trailers and cool elements. They weren't showing it. Same thing with Crackdown 3. They flew everybody to Mexico to show a 2-minute trailer of multiplayer. Some trash. So when you don't see the game, it's not marketed leading up to the release date. They stealth release it into a Game Pass. When you see review scores, they're going to hold more weight because those people got to play the game. And you're like, shit, I didn't even see anything to even make a judgment on it. They showed me a clip here or there. And that's the difference. When you market a game and show trailers, like, you know, and hopefully they do this with Gears, but like, you show the trailers, you build, you show elements of the story. Look what they did with Smash Brothers. We all knew what the hell Smash Brothers was, but they kept teasing characters, they kept showing characters, talking about the game, adding things to it, like talked about it for a whole year. That it didn't matter what the score came out. If it was a 5, people were like, I don't give a shit. I like what I see, and I'm buying it. So that's another aspect. Exactly. The marketing of the world comes for you. It's not. Yeah, exactly. The world comes for you, man. There you are in that game. The world is against you. Like, nobody's your friend out there, and it has that survival element that you see in, you know, in the movies and stuff like that, in your Walking Dead, and they're going out for runs and things like that, and it does come for you. It really is cool. So like, marketing does have a lot of influence on whether somebody buys a game or not, and I do feel that, you know, Sony's marketing was spot on to what the game was. It wasn't a bait and switch. But I do think that's why people like, well, the review scores are low. I do think that the review scores don't hold as much impact when there is proper marketing with the game, because people have seen enough. Like they did the what was it, in October or November? Like they did the playthrough. Game Informer had a huge, I think it was in February or January. Like Game Informer had a huge thing. The guy played the game. They had a huge kind of article about it. It was a cover article, and they had a whole coverage on it. You know, I thought it was hilarious that, like, what was it? Crackdown 3 was IGN early, something like that. They showed a 2-minute trailer of what the campaign map looked like, and that was like the first IGN first. That was it. I'm like, so weak. Microsoft had a poor marketing with all their games, and maybe that's why maybe they don't have confidence in their games. Like I heard with Sea of Thieves, like Microsoft did not have confidence until they saw, oh, people seem to like the beta, so you know, now we'll put some marketing behind it. And it's because gaming is totally different from Microsoft now, and if that is anything that's shown, and showing the disconnect, and showing, you know, virtual reality, their involvement and things like that. That's Microsoft is in a different level. They're suits, they're business guys now, and Xbox has become Windows. Like that is it. Like the world has finally come together. That's why I haven't done a lot, is because I've accepted that. Because now gaming for Microsoft right now, gaming is Windows. It's cloud. It's not even Windows anymore. It's the cloud, and that's what they talked about in Build. But what's up, Meds? How you doing, man? But just to get back to the Days Gone, like, the marketing was on point for it. The coverage that they had showed the game, and it kept getting better over time. and I like what I played. I played it at PAX. I gave my impressions about how it was a few weeks ago, like beginning of April. They had zombies booth. You could take a picture on the bike with Deacon with the zombie bear. Like, it really invested you into the story, into the characters, and when I played, I was like, yo, this is great. I really like it. And they're gonna have to be really smart on how not to have this overlap with Days Gone and Last of Us 2. But they've shown enough leading up to the game for people to kind of say, well, that game looks good. And that's where Microsoft falters, where with State of Decay 2 and their games, they do not have the good marketing leading up to the game. Now, maybe with Gears, it's a different story. We will see. Maybe this is Game Pass's fault. I don't know, because the marketing linked to Halo 5 got me hyped up, and then when I played Halo 5, it had nothing to do with the marketing. And that was a big faux pas. Now, that's a problem when marketing kind of could hurt a game, where this one, I believe it helped the game. And what I'm just kind of summarize is that if you have good marketing and you show the game and you build up to the game and you give people enough to see that they can make their own decisions based on what they're seeing, then, the reviews I find might not have an impact. Maybe if there's a huge technical issues and things like that, then that's a problem, or if it just doesn't work. But otherwise, when you don't see a game like how Microsoft's games were, when you don't see them, and then all of a sudden you hear just some rumors out of the thing, and then all of a sudden trash review scores drop, you're like, oh shit, no wonder we didn't see it, because the game is garbage. And that was the problem of their last few games. They held them close to their chest, didn't talk about them, didn't show any gameplay, didn't show that much about those games, stealth releases them to bad reviews, and they're forgotten about. You check out my last stream. I tried to play Crackdown online. It's dead. They finally added that you could invite your friends. It took forever. I was circling around. You can't even play it. So, there you go. So, there's your friggin' Crackdown.
Who the hell are you talking to, son?
So Crackdown. Trash. Anyway, nobody could be playing that game anymore. So, good luck trying to find your friends and all that other stuff.
I don't want to hear nothing else.
No, we're done with Crackdown talk right now. So, now, going on to the thing that, I wanted to talk about. It's friggin' hilarious. Is Days Gone. I recommend the game. Go get it. And, yes, don't call me Danny. Crackdown 3 is dead.
That's it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
You go online, try to play a game online. Nope. It just spins and spins and spins. And I did it, I guess, on a Tuesday night, like prime time. Nobody's playing that game. Nobody's playing a multiplayer. Still have 3 maps. They just added, I think, a couple of weeks ago, they just added the ability to invite friends. It's garbage. And actually, you bring up the Crackdown 3. All right. Hold on. If you guys don't want to hear about Crackdown,
I gotta pay.
go take a piss break. Let me explain. Again, something that I always say on this show, and something I want people to understand. It doesn't matter how many devices you put your game on if nobody wants to play it, because it's not a good game. Crackdown 3 is on every Windows 10 device. They'll say 700 billion Windows 10 devices out there. So we say they're businesses. So we'll say, maybe 500 billion. Of 500 million? Billion? I don't know what the hell. I think it is a million. It's Windows 10 devices. 500 million, not billion. I don't think... I got to look at that number. Hold on. I'm going to check. Because I got to see exactly how many before I make my point. But I think you know where I'm going. I'm going to say, what the hell? My phone thing. Let's see. How many Windows 10 devices are there? And we're at 700. Yeah, not billion. 700 million active users. That was as July of last year. 700 million. Okay? So we're at 700 million devices. Okay? 40 million Xboxes. So what, 700, 800 million devices? That game could be purchased on. or subscribe to for the $1 for 3 months, or 14-day trial, or 1 month of Game Pass. Not even a $60 game on over about 800 million devices. And I can't find the game on a Monday night to play online.
And that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
So, when they talk 2 billion, if they don't make games that are worth the damn, who cares if that game is sitting on these 2 billion game? And I'm gonna tell you, Sam Ash, this leads me into Build, right? What they talked about today at Build, because they talked some gaming, and basically, these 2 billion gamers are not console players. These 2 billion people are mobile. Mobile. They are your phone players. That's where they are. They're on the phones. There's not 2 billion gamers that play on console out there that they're trying to get. There are 2 billion people that tap and flick and spin and do all stuff on their phones. Those are the people that they're trying to get. That's who they're trying to get with Stadia. They are going after 2 billion mobile gamers. Mobile. Hence, the structure of Game Pass being a subscription model what people are mobile familiar with. Hence, loot boxes and crates and that stuff. Easy, accessible games. No progression that's locked behind that games that will deter you from playing. It's all mobile. It is mobile. 2 billion people on phones. That is who they're going for. And you see that. They want to put Forza Street, which is a trash game, they'd rather put it on a Nintendo Switch before they put it on an Xbox. It hasn't even been put on an Xbox. It's been on phones, PC, and Switch, possibly. They're not putting it on Xbox because they know console players don't want that game. But all their moves are for mobile. And we say why PC. PC is part of their mobile strategy with gaming laptops and stuff like that. A PC can be considered part of that mobile aspect. Not the hardcore dude that's sitting on a tower PC. Yeah, he gets some benefits, but it's really the mobile aspect. They're going for mobile. And I anticipate with their low subscription model entry and the developers that they've been acquiring, which are not quadruple A developers, they're not renowned for their IP. They're just kind of middle of the road, going about to close my studio down, or hey, I just released an indie game type of studios.
My ass hurts just watching this.
It really, you look at what they're doing. We just released an indie game where we haven't, they're not going after IP. They're not saying, yo, those guys have some amazing, I want that IP. No, they're not buying people for their IP. They're buying middle of the road studios who said, here's my new indie game. Here's a game, I'm a middle of the road AA. And that's what they're releasing because they're going to put this game on Game Pass. They got to make this game accessible. That was the whole reason why Sea of Thieves doesn't have progressions, because it's accessible. They want people signing up today not getting discouraged that somebody is a pirate legend and has amazing guns to shoot you. No, not Call of Duty style. They want to make sure that everybody is middle of the road. Everybody is the same. Status quo. Because they want people just to keep playing the game. But that is their future. Their future is to try to target those 2 billion gamers. And then when it doesn't work, they're going to come back home to those dudes on the Xbox console, and guess what? Nobody's home.
I don't want to hear nothing else.
Nobody's home because those Xbox console owners have been now sacrificed for this journey of 2 billion mobile gamers. And you want to...
Somebody's talking too much. It's costing me money.
They talk too much. And that's why they're willing to talk about the technology, the future of how everybody's going to play and all this stuff in streaming. But not talk about the games, the content that's going to try to bring those people in. Because, first of all, the content's still in development. And secondly, I don't think the content is really what it is. It's not the quality of the content. It's just the type of content. I think that they could just say, we have games coming every couple of months is enough for them to say, come on Game Pass. Because when I play a game like Days Gone, I can tell you right now, that type of game, Days Gone, for what it is today, you will never see that type of game be released on an Xbox platform as long as the Game Pass model exists. A game not only in scope, but a game that doesn't have any microtransactions, does not have any content behind paywalls, does not have any bullshit pass going on. It is just a game for a game that is open and closed. You will not ever have that on an Xbox platform ever until Game Pass goes away. And Microsoft says, we are just messing with you. Our games will not be in Game Pass day one. Because their games, and I'm crossing my fingers.
Don't do it! I'm warning you, do not do it!
I'm telling this to Ferguson and to
Don't
Bonnie.
do it! I'm warning you, do not do it!
And I know it's going to happen. Gears of War 5 and Halo Infinite are going to be service games. There's going to be some bullshit in there that's going to have to support the subscription model. You will not get and now I'm not talking about DLC maps. I'm talking about things where parts of the game are held up, parts of the game are coming soon. It's happening. Maybe Gears gets under the radar, but Halo Infinite, guaranteed, just for the name alone. But maybe Gears slips in and they keep Gears fully fledged. But I cannot see, because you got to think about it. You have people, they want people to do it through Game Pass. How would you release a game that could be finished in a couple of weeks from your studios without kind of the carrot that keep people subscribed? Without the carrot to keep people renewing Game Pass? Without the carrot to say, I need more of this game? They did it with Sea of Thieves. And that's right, Sam Ash. The minute they showed Halo, it's not Halo 6, the finale of Master Chief's bullshit. No, it's not that. It's Halo Infinite. Like, yo, we're just gonna add stuff. Like, you might have season 1 of the campaign, and season 2 is coming. Or in Gears 5 or whatever like that, in Gears style. We're gonna launch with the campaign and these 5 multiplayer maps. Horde mode is expected to come in December. Excuse me. I want to know, is Horde a full multiplayer ensemble of maps and game modes and the campaign all coming for Gears of War on day one? That is my biggest question that I'm going into E3 with. Is Gears 5 going to have all that stuff day one? Or is it going to be, here's Kate's campaign, here's a few multiplayer maps with our new game mode, and more game modes and maps will come over time, and Horde mode is expecting to release in January. Now that sounds like a service model to me. That sounds like a game that's going in Game Pass day one. That's what that sounds like. So that's my biggest question going into E3. And, you know, I kind of skipped now into my E3 kind of thing, but it goes along those lines. Like, that's the thing. Playing that game. And I'm going to tell you, the next game, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us. Now, like, I'm not saying there's no microtransactions and stuff, but games will not... Sony is not making games for a subscription service. They are making games to sell their console. Therefore, if you own the console, you get the best and fullest experience. Microsoft is making games to sell Game Pass subscriptions. Therefore, their games will have stuff in it to keep you subscribed. They're two different approaches. Nintendo is making games to sell consoles. If you own a Nintendo Switch, you will get the best experience of those games. And you could even see this with Microsoft not even putting games on the Xbox console, like Gears Tactics, like Minecraft Dungeons, like Age of Empires, like Forza Street. Well, Miami Streets, as I call it. But you think about that, and it's like they're purposely not putting these games on there because the Xbox X is a Windows 10 device. It's capable of running all these games, probably the best. And they're not just an Android game. Like, it's not like Mario Run. You know, it's not Mario Run. Like, these are not made for mobile games. They're putting it on PC. So this game can run on PC. It's not just for ARM processors. This game is running off NVIDIA graphics cards and all the other crap. So it could and it could run on a console. Like, they just purposely not putting it there. Oh, don't even get me started with that stuff. Exclusives are anti-consumer.
Now, all right?
Yeah, exclusives are not anti-consumer. No. Everybody has exclusives. Look what Epic Store is doing with buying exclusives, bringing traffic into their store. Hulu, just look at what Disney's doing with exclusives. They said, you know what? Give us all our Marvel movies. We're gonna make a service of just exclusives that we do. Exclusives support your device, your subscription, and your hardware. And exclusives will always be there because that is the true differentiator between devices and services, is the exclusives. So if you put your exclusives on every friggin' platform, well, you just decrease the demand for that platform. Especially, you know, if you're selling. So I anticipate. That's why, you know, speaking of E3, I'm kind of going to skip right to E3 stuff. If you are an Xbox console owner, I just don't understand how you could be excited for Microsoft's E3. Because I think it's going to be a E3. Microsoft's press conference is going to be E3 for everyone.
What do you mean I'm not an expert?
I think E3 Microsoft is going to be for, and people are going to be in shock. If this was Xbox 4 years ago, I would say this is awesome. I would be hyped. But because of the moves and how Microsoft has changed and how they view Xbox has changed over the last 3 years, that it is basically Xbox games are Windows mobile and console. That's Xbox now. And they have no shame in putting their games on Nintendo platforms or putting their services, Xbox Live, on Nintendo or anything like that. It basically shows that this E3, and Phil says it, and let's see if I could, in that last Inside Xbox, like, he says it, and I just think, like, you know, like, do people, like, I don't understand, like, do people listen? Because, like, when I say this stuff, people are like, oh, you're just, like, you're wrong. It's like, no. Or when I say it, people are like, oh, no. Like, you know, they care about Xbox. They don't. Okay? They don't. Whoever 40 million, 30 million you're on there, stick around, guys. We hope you stick around for next generation. And that number is going to slowly decrease until Microsoft puts games specifically on that console. If they don't do that, that number of 40 million will be 20 million, will be 10 million, and then will be no more Xbox devices being made anymore. No more Xbox console. And that's the future. But until Microsoft gets their head out of the ass, where's my thing?
You want to spend the rest of your life with your head up your ass? Be my guest.
If they want to do that, and want to move ahead with this vision of 2 billion people and cut the head off of the Xbox console owner and sacrifice them to explore 2 billion people who don't even know what the hell an Xbox is, they're cannibalizing everything that they have made, everything that they have pushed forward with Xbox Live. And that's what frustrates me the most, is I've seen this company being like a joke. When the original Xbox came out, it's like Microsoft making games, and then became legitimate. And now became a joke. Because they went right back to what they were. A stupid Windows, Microsoft, we got to put cloud, stupid bullshit. Just make great games. But no, let's do all this cloud bullshit. And this Satya got to go. And take Phil with you. Take good humor Phil with you. Please, just get out. Bring somebody that knows if you make a product, and this is with anything, you make a friggin' product, you try to sell that product. You do not make a product and then talk about all the other options there are that don't sell your product. That is like the worst salesperson in the world.
I don't think so, sucker.
That is the worst salesperson in the world. If I made incredible peanut butter ice cream, and I'm like there, and when you walk up to my stand, I tell you about everywhere else you could buy peanut butter ice cream, and probably for cheaper, I will be out of business. You know what? My ice cream is $5. My peanut butter ice cream is $5. But, you know, if you don't want to pay, they sell it around the corner, peanut butter ice cream. You know, we sell it cheaper across the street for $3. Okay, thanks. And I'll stand there with my ice cream. You know, you don't even have to come to my stand. You could stay home. The peanut butter ice cream's right there. You don't even need to come here. Our friends at Nintendo are selling our peanut butter ice cream. You don't even need it. You don't even need me. I would be out of business. And that's what they done. Like, I don't give a shit about this whole putting their PC and all this other stuff. Like, that was fun. They try to do this. It's like the Matrix Revisited. They've done this so many times before and failed. Games for Windows Live. Xbox Live Anywhere on your phone with presents and in-friend invites. Chat. Xbox Live games on Windows Phone where you get achievements. They've done this before. Neo has failed a bunch of times. Now we come to another time point with two doors. You either save Xbox and say that the console and the hardcore and the people, the device that you make, that you spend so much money in research and development for, and try to sell that product, or do you go to the door on the right and try to tell the people of Zion, the 2 billion over there, to say, come play video games? So do you go left and save Xbox, or do you go right and who cares about Zion? Either way, which way are you going? And Microsoft's going to Zion. That's it. They go Matrix reference. They're going to 2 billion people that don't even give a shit. And they let Xbox die. Which one did Neo choose? He chose Xbox. You know? But it's just like, they've tried this before and it failed. And it didn't bother me because Microsoft kept delivering to the console. They did not take away from the console or not give games to the console to market to people that really don't care. They didn't say, you don't get this game, guys, because we're gonna target these guys over here. Microsoft said, hey, you get these games. This is a 360 era. You get all these games and you guys are the focus. But we're going to do some other bullshit on the side here. Try to get these other guys on there. Never worked. Now they flip-flopped it. Now they're keeping you guys, you know what, keep, FanFest. You go over again, FanFest. We don't give a shit about. We'll give you some shirts and some Xbox pins, and you guys can go jerk off for another year. We're going to come over here now and fuck with all these guys on PC and phones and stuff. And that's what they're doing. Where's that Inside Xbox? Now I got diverted. Inside Xbox, this. So it is going to be... What the hell? Why is it not working? There we go. The latest Inside Xbox had this, and I'm going to put this up here. Was it this one?
They're out there.
Proud to be.
at the end, right? Where did he have the interview with Phil?
This is video proof.
That was April's. I'll cue it up here and then I'll show it to you. What he says about Inside Xbox. What he says about E3. Oh, so it's episode 3 it is. And hold on, Chad, I'm just like looking at this stuff here. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. And it's going to be about Game Pass and all this other stuff. And Game Pass is good, you know. But coming from them, those type of games will not be. They'll get a game maybe later on, that type of game. But they're not going to.
She shut out, bro.
I can't see them doing it. Now, if they do it, here it is.
Later. How do all of these, wherever you want to go? I think we're going to have a really great show at E3 from developers all over. Because I go over, I'm seeing friends, I'm seeing people.
Sorry,
I've
I'm
seen
queued up
multiple times of the year. Ball and now, a great show at E3 from developers all over.
I have to ask you, you've been traveling a lot, but I also
now it's just I started taking probably half of my online.
E3, where is it, boy?
Our solution will be with the breadth of what we have in a hotel experience with me. Like when I'm not having to kind of grind feedback for the team, so I'm glad I'm getting to do this.
Feeling about E3 this year.
This is gonna be an interesting one. Like we are.
Yeah, this is what he says. Let's get to this now. Da-da-da. So I'm going to come over here and. There we go.
We're the platform holder that has a live stage show, and it's kind of just us this year. I feel the responsibility of that. I want to represent gaming.
Huh?
Right? I think
What was that?
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Whoa. Represent Xbox, right? Xbox? Did I miss something?
I think it's an important time where the kind of larger community, news and other things are looking at the gaming industry. News and other things where
not looking at Xbox.
Larger community news. And
I gotta get back a little bit.
Right, I think it's an important time where the kind of just us this year. I feel the responsibility of that. I want to represent.
Who is
gaming.
your daddy?
Right, I think it's an important time where the kind of larger community, news and other things are looking at the gaming industry at E3. I think it's a time where we kind of pop above a lot of the noise that's out there. So I think the whole team, we're taking the responsibility of being out there, representing gaming and wanting to do a good job of that.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Did he say anything about Xbox? They are the only show in town. But we're representing gaming. So, right from the horse's mouth.
Who is your daddy?
He says it. E3 for him is going to be about, they're representing gaming. He don't look at, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to, promote, to show what Xbox can do, what the power of the X can do. Just over a year ago, we released the most powerful console and showing what our console can do and showing how Xbox is the gaming brand that should be. Not one thing about Xbox and then being on the show floor, but again, this whole holistic, I'm here, I feel like we're the only show in town, so I'm going to represent gaming. And all the big guys are looking at us, and we're going to show gaming. So, E3, I expect to have here a whole bunch of xCloud, a whole bunch of new consoles because because they think that's what the people just want to keep buying is new consoles without games, and showing games that you could play everywhere. Whether they're Xbox games that you could play on the toilet, or on your cell phone, or on with that contraption, the strap-on for the Xbox controller, or multi-plat games that you could play on everybody's devices and all their games that you could play everywhere. So it's going to be an E3 for gaming. Microsoft is not using this opportunity to say, we're the only ones in town. We got Xbox. We got the power of the console. We're going to show you why you need to go get Xbox. And Xbox equals gaming. And this is why you go buy an Xbox. That ship has sailed. Goodbye.
Whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
It's going to be cloud streaming, and it's going to sell more consoles. And they think that basically by selling more console, like by just showing you more hardware, those 40 million Xbox guys will be satisfied. Oh yeah, cool, I got a new console to look forward to. But in the back of their mind, they're not making games specifically for your console. They're not utilizing the power of that machine. The HOVIS, the cooling, the way the system works and communicates. Yes, it's essentially a PC, but it's a customized PC. It's customized architecture. It causes research and development. Why would you invest in all that research and development when you're not going to make games to target that specific technology that's in that console? You're not just grabbing a motherboard, sticking a GPU on it, and AP, and just shoving it in a pretty box or a big VCR box. No. You're using special cooling methods. You're using special RAM and bus speeds, and all this other technical bullshit. And you're not making a game. You're not having your developers make a game targeting that type of technology, squeezing that performance out of that customized piece of hardware. That's the reason why you have exclusives. Look at Days Gone. Look at God of War. Those games look great for the technology that they're running on. Look at Gears of War 1 compared to Gears of War 3. There were no GPU changes of the 360. The 360 was the same hardware from day one to day end. And maybe they fixed the heat, like the heat sink issue and the heat management, but the GPU never changed. And look what they could have done with Gears 3 as opposed to Gears 1. You were finding a Brumac at the feed running around the Brumac, where the first one, the Brumac was stuck behind a wall and it was just a head you were shooting at. But now the thing's walking around in 3D space. The technology changes. They learned how to use the architecture. That is why you make a console, to have those games that are not available everywhere else and that are made specifically. Look, could they have made Zelda, that game that we played on the Switch, on your Android phone? Has there been a game that looks like Zelda on an Android phone? No. That game was made specifically for the NVIDIA chip that's inside the Switch. That's why you make a console. If you care about gaming, Phil Spencer, then don't make a console anymore. Just put games everywhere and call it a day, because it's mixed messaging. You're trying to sell people $500 pieces of hardware, and you're not even making games specifically for that $500 piece of hardware. This is what boggles my mind. This is what grinds my gears.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
All the time. All the time.
Don't do that.
But enough. Maybe, just maybe, at Build, Microsoft Build, I'm going to come back to the chat now, but I'm going to show this other thing. Maybe, just at Microsoft Build, they did something about VR. Maybe. This was today. You guys want to watch me? I'm going to jump into the chat. I want to see if you guys are watching with me. You guys, are you ready for Grinds My Gears? Where is this? All right, chat, you ready? All the guys in the chat. We got 25 people. Yo, like this video. We're going to watch Build, Microsoft Build, and show HoloLens 2 was revealed today.
What do you mean I'm not an expert?
I'm not an expert, but HoloLens 2 was revealed and demoed right here at Build. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? We're going to have some hype music, because it's all about developers. And here they come. Are you ready? Are you ready? HoloLens, Microsoft's AR solution. We're going to see the future. Billions, thousands of dollars in research, development for HoloLens 2. For everybody out there, don't stop believing, guys. We're going to see Microsoft's VR. PlayStation VR, you're in deep shit right now because here comes HoloLens 2.
Bacon.
Good morning. Welcome to Microsoft Build. My name is John Knoll, and I'm Chief Creative Officer at Industrial Light and Magic. The Apollo 11 moon landing was cutting-edge technology of the 1960s. And today, with the help of my friend, fellow Apollo aficionado, and author of A Man on the Moon, Andy Chaikin.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to recreate the mission using some 21st century technology, using the
Can't
power
wait.
of
This is amazing.
Unreal Engine and HoloLens 2. Andrew?
Thank you, John. Well, the Apollo 11 moon landing happened 50 years ago on July 20th, 1969. And like you, I've been waiting for that for a long time. And what made it possible was this.
Sorry.
Well, it seems that doing a live demo is actually harder than landing on the moon.
Indeed.
Thank you for your time.
Sorry.
There's HoloLens 2. Done. That was it.
What the fuck?
You want to spend the rest of your life with your head up your ass? Be my guest.
Fucking internet. Don't get dramatic now, all right?
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
There it is. He walked off the stage. Oh man, that was all right. Oh my god. Not like this. Not like this. Oh. And let me oh, I gotta go make the meme of the guys like, it was like this. They had no backup plan. They had no backup plan. They just basically were just like, see ya, man. Hopefully at E3 they don't go, well, making a game is harder than landing on a moon. But I would love to go get a bunch of Phil Spencer clips right now and go, VR and AR, it's really at the PC. Like that's where it is. It's at the PC. You want to know something? HoloLens 2, again, guys, it's for the mobile strategy. Because that HoloLens 2 is using an ARM processor. This is what they're trying to do. And let me give you, you know what? For all you guys in here, I appreciate the support. You guys coming in here. I love having you guys in this chat, man.
Never give up. Never surrender.
I'm going to go back. And I just want to let you know, we're going to go back again. You guys, I'm still laughing at this thing. So, I'm going to go back, and I want to let you know, right? So, I'm going to share this one more time. So, these guys, right? This right here is a sea of developers. This is Microsoft Build. This is where Microsoft comes out on stage, shows the things that they have, the tools, the equipment for these people to make content for them. So,
welcome John
If-
Knoll and Andrew Chaikin.
So, if you were a dev looking forward to HoloLens 2, that was just announced, right? Remember, it was announced like in February, something like that. It was yeah, it was just announced, and you'll see more build.
My name is.
Now, granted, I'm sure they got this thing on the show floor, but
My name is John Knoll, and I'm Chief Creative Officer at Industrial Light and Magic.
this game.
The Apollo 11 moon landing was cutting-edge technology. of the
Space historian, this
1960s.
poor guy.
And today, with the help of my friend, fellow Apollo aficionado, and
we get
author
to win
of
this
A Man
time?
on the Moon, Andy Chaikin,
Hi, everybody.
we're going to recreate the mission using some 21st century technology, using the power of Unreal Engine and HoloLens 2. Andrew?
Thank you, John. Well, the Apollo 11 moon landing happened 50 years ago on July 20th, 1969. And like
Don't
you,
do it.
I've
I'm
been
warning
waiting
you,
for
do
that
not
for a long
do it.
time. And what made it possible was this.
I went ahead and ordered something for the table.
Well, it seems that doing a live demo is actually harder than landing on the moon.
Indeed.
I'm
Thank
funny,
you for
how?
your
I mean,
time.
funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
My ass hurts just watching this.
And they just walk off the stage like, yep, there you go. Oh, $1 billion investment right here. Like, all this research and shit. And it's like, sorry, guys. So good I had to watch it twice. What a friggin' disaster. Yes, Brian V. I hear a joke. The ads that they ran for Windows... Remember, the ads that they ran for Windows Phone 8 saying that they will have development support as equal to the PC market. Oh, yes. So you could see where the horse shit
My ass hurts just watching this.
of Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8, of the shit that I went through with that stuff and believed this stuff.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
And then seeing what they're doing to the Xbox. No, they didn't come back out later. No, they were done. Then Satya came out and, talked about,
All of you as developers to go
Yeah.
after that moonshot.
he came out and spoke about, no, they cut right to commercial, and then Satya came out and jibber-jabbered away about platforms and opportunity. And they did something where he's talking about how the cloud... Where's my thing? Where is it? I have it right here. I gotta find it now. The cloud is basically like it's gonna power everything. You know, it's gonna be this power, and it's gonna support gaming and services and translations and everything that Google already has already. But like, yeah.
A huge cloud of shit. Wow. God, I think I smell it. Come on, let's go.
That was basically the rest of the build. Like this cloud and frameworks and businesses and gaming, Microsoft Gaming, and this is, is part of this. Okay? Like, he basically states, like, let me get to the part here. Like, he basically goes into that, like, where is this? What is this?
What's up? It looks like you're already in here.
Yep, I'm here in my office, also wearing.
Oh yeah, they did try to do. Oh, they did do a HoloLens 2. Not those guys.
And all of our content that you just saw from that Teams channel is already up here
Oh
on
my
the wall.
God, what is
You can
this?
even see some of the comments thanks to the Microsoft Graph API.
Cool.
Nobody's
The
gonna
3D meeting.
use this.
All I have to do is scan the QR.
Yeah, now this is what they want to do. Like, see, this is I'm gonna show this part of it. So they did do a HoloLens demo here, but those guys never came back. But let me show this thing. because this is kind of like what Oculus wants to do with Facebook.
Code in the corner. I'm gonna put on the device.
Like, this is...
And scan the code.
First of all, these things are what? $3,000.
Hey, Amanda, what's up? It looks like you're already in here.
Yep, I'm here in my office also wearing a HoloLens 2. So you'll see me in the room show up as an avatar. And all of our content that you just saw from that Teams channel is already up here on the wall. You can even see some of the comments thanks to the Microsoft Graph API.
Cool.
And with the new finger hand tracking in HoloLens 2, it's so easy to quickly triage content. So I can quickly just grab a document off the wall and toss it right up there on our shared workspace. So we can
Imagine
all
this is
take a
teaching
look.
in the future.
And if I want Amanda to check out something, I can just pull it off the wall and toss it to her. What do you think of that one, Amanda?
Wow, that looks great.
And just to recap what happened here, I grabbed a holographic image on the wall as a real person in this room and threw it to an avatar who could be anywhere in the world.
And apparently, the field of view has not really increased as much as it did before. So, like, what you're seeing here is a full kind of thing. It's only a snapshot of it still. Even with the HoloLens 2, they said they're effective, but not too much. But again, this is neat. But this is where they're taking their technology. This is where the cloud and HoloLens, they're not using it for gaming experiences.
Wow, this is awesome.
And they've taken our games on Xbox and thrown them into this kind of like workshop.
Now, with the new hand tracking capabilities in the Mixed Reality Toolkit, I can also have this cool new hand dock. So I'll just pull it up, and it lets me pull up content from a variety of locations, like my OneDrive. I'm just going to scroll the 3D models that are stored on it and select Sky Justice.
They showed this, what, a Minecraft demo
There we
4 years
go.
ago, right?
And let's make this life-size.
Nobody's making stuff for this
and
stuff,
zoom this
man.
up a little bigger.
It looks
and, you know,
cool,
Amanda, I'm thinking,
but again,
why don't we show
it's
off the
like,
new
who's
freehand
gonna do
annotation
this?
capabilities and give her some accessories?
Absolutely. I think she really could use a bracelet. And of course, the finishing touch, a HoloLens. Everyone needs a HoloLens.
Awesome. Oh, hey, Lynn. It looks like Lynn just joined.
Hey everyone, I love this. Joining from my PC, I'm still able to participate in the experience even without a HoloLens. So are you ready to see what I've been working on?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Since I've joined from my laptop via the spatial tab in Teams you saw earlier, I can easily browse and upload content directly from my PC and upload it to the meeting. Check out this 3D model of a hover pack.
This is cool.
So I guess maybe it does have to
Amanda,
develop
since
games?
this is mixed reality, why don't you jump in and give it a spin?
Of course, let's try it out. Wow, it's even cooler on the inside.
Now,
My ass hurts just
Spatial's
watching
a
this.
hardware agnostic platform. And you don't need just a headset to join the experience. Let me invite Jacob onto the stage now. He's going to show you how you can join from the device in your pocket.
There you go, mobile.
Oh, this is so dope. I love it. Great work, Lynn. With Azure Spatial Anchors, this mixed reality experience shares a map across HoloLens and ARKit and ARCore.
No. Yeah, he talked the whole time about
Side
this
of
stuff.
That means game developers on iOS and Android can incorporate
There we go. There we go.
Rare, Ubisoft, Wizards of the Coast,
There it is. This is the part
and
we can get
bring
to.
the entirety of the Microsoft game stack so that developers can build amazing games. In fact, right on Azure, we have tremendous traction for game development. You have people like Rare, Ubisoft, Wizards of the Coast, all building these amazing game experiences using the power of the cloud. But there are two examples I just wanted to call out as part of GameStack. The first one is Xbox Live. Now, Xbox Live has got 63 million users. It's the most vibrant gaming social network out there. And now it's available on iOS and Android. That means game developers on iOS and Android can incorporate the network into their gameplay and help really drive engagement. And it's really exciting to see Gameloft, the creators of very big hit games from Asphalt to Order and Chaos and Modern Combat, all incorporating now Xbox Live as part of their gaming. So we think of basically Xbox Live being brought to mobile platform as being super helpful for game developers. Another service that I want to highlight is Azure PlayFab. Now, Azure PlayFab really captures, I think, the essence of what game development is all about, because game development doesn't stop with the game being launched. In some sense, you could even say it starts after the game is launched, because you want to be able to experiment, learn through analytics, and continuously change gameplay. And that's what is described
So
as
that's what they bought
live
PlayFab
ops.
for.
Just like how we have DevOps, with game development, you have something called live ops, which I think increasingly is going to be true in many of the other application development categories as well, but for sure in gaming. And that's what Azure PlayFab enables, which is it's a rich PaaS service. It's already got 1 billion accounts in it because of the gamers, because all the developers using it are really using these accounts to help drive gameplay on a personalized basis. And it's really exciting to see Roblox partner up with Azure PlayFab to bring this to their community of developers. So we are very, very excited to see how this really enables all of the community of developers building on Roblox to be able to use PlayFab and really enhance the experience. So gaming, again, is very rich opportunity. And I just wanted to roll a video of GameStack for you.
The hardware consists of a master control and 2 player control units.
This is basically showing the depth of a console. Watch.
Good shot, yes.
It's really
So look,
exciting.
here's the platform's opportunity. So it says Microsoft Dynamics 365. That's the Office. Office 365, Microsoft 365 Power Platform. The Azure Cloud sits above it all, and then Microsoft Gaming, which you just saw Microsoft Gaming is.
To see the developer opportunity in front of us. What you saw today is how we're building the best modern technology stack for applications, data and AI, business process automation, communications and productivity, as well as gaming. These platforms are rich canvases for you in this era of the cloud and the edge, to enable you to turn the dreams that you all have into reality. Not just imagine the future, but to create it, to build these magical experiences. Magical experiences that empower people to be more productive and collaborative. Magical experiences.
Yep, that's how he ends on it. So basically, what we're looking at here is basically everything they've been saying. Beyond the console. Like, they kind of show that the console was an antiquated device, like you're blowing in the Nintendo cartridge and stuff like that, showing that it's all about this connectivity and this kind of like delivering games. But what I want to say is that they have known for looking like this. Looks like they always wanted to do this, and they have not succeeded because they don't pursue it. They drop it. Look at all the services they have dropped. Look at the devices they have dropped. Look at, like, they have a track record of not following through. And that looks all right. But again, when he talks about gaming, when he talks about the stack, he's talking about Roblox, Gameloft on iOS. Like, he's not showing the big games that are going to use this thing. He's just showing that Xbox Live, and maybe they have Azure Cloud, and that really, those games at the end, those console games, like I guess PC games of Gears, Sea of Thieves, and stuff like that, really, again, they have this connectivity, this cloud, this Xbox Live, and the thing is that we're starting with the technology, but not with the games. And they have been doing this for the last 3 years, and this is where you can't build games for the technology. Like, the technology should be there, but that should not be the thing. Like, that should not, like, imagine if Epic was just selling its engine instead of Fortnite. Like, that, the toolkit, that stuff, I understand it's a developer conference, but they have been talking this stuff to every Tom, Dick, Jane, and Harry that they've getting a microphone to, about the cloud, the this, the that, the streaming, all this other stuff, and not talking about what you'll be playing. And that's the hope of E3. What will we be playing? But they're rolling out this kind of development tool, and that's the thing. This sounds all nice, but who is going to use it? And who is going to use it when you are not the platform leader? You might have a few devs. Look at Windows Phone. They were not the leader of mobile. Android and iOS got all the developer support, and Windows Phone did not. And it died. You have Sony and Nintendo leading the gaming console space. You got Epic fighting with Steam on PC front for development. Nobody's using UWP. That is dead. Nobody's using Edge browser. That is dead. They're putting Chromium now into their browser. All that talk about Edge browser, and it had the specific... Know why? Because the developers did not use the new HTML5 or whatever the hell was in Edge. So Edge was not working with apps because of that, and people were not using it. Groove Music was there before Spotify, and it's dead. Brian, that's right. The developers do not jump on board with this. And maybe this changes. But the key point is if you're at 91 million consoles sold, you're growing at 30 million consoles sold, you have developer mindshare because they want to put a game on your platform to sell more of it, and they have a higher opportunity. However, when you have an Xbox that is not selling more than half, like a 40 million, and that console is not penetrating the market, and if you want to put it on more devices, you need to multi-platform development and make your studio develop for Windows 10 PC, Xbox, which is multi-platform. That is not an overnight swap. As much as they say it's multi-platform, in order to reach out to more people and put it behind the walled garden of the Windows 10 store, which people will have shown will not go there to download games. That is a lose-lose situation. So as a developer, where will you go with that? That HoloLens demo looks great, but why would you spend research and marketing in making an app for HoloLens 2 when it is not sold? It is not selling. I would make a VR, AR application for Oculus, for Facebook, because they keep reiterating their hardware, for PlayStation. Like, I would be making content for those things because they are growing. They are evolving. HoloLens 2, we didn't even get past HoloLens 1. HoloLens 1 was still a dev kit. And now we're in the beta of HoloLens 2. Like, come on. And look at the content that they're doing. This is not for gaming. This is not for entertainment. This is for education. And it seems like the biggest thing that they're going for is sharing 3D models in a 3D space. So if you're developing 3D models either for games or developing 3D models for architecture and stuff like that, that's all for cars and stuff. That's where they want to go. This is for business. It's all for the business aspect of it because they are slowly pulling out of the consumer level stuff. The consumer level stuff, they backed out. Oh, Bing, yeah, Bing was a thing too. That was going to take over Google. That is another kind of search engine that has gone away. Like, it's still there. They are just, Microsoft has this thing. They're the cool, hip devs, the devs of this generation, of our generation, have gone to Google and Apple. That's where the developer mindshare is. And Linux and all that other stuff. Because they have grown with the pain of Windows. Their parents have grown with the pain of Windows. The business aspect of it has grown with the pain of Windows. And those faults of old school corporate Windows have carried over to create a generation now that doesn't want to be part of Windows. And the developer support is not there. And that's why Xbox was so important to them, because that was their hipster. That was their stuff of connecting with this generation, was the Xbox console and Xbox Live. And what they have done in the past 3 years has negated all of the years of 2001 till now, of all the promotion, all the hip kind of Xbox is cool, Microsoft is cool kind of way. I would have never thought about buying Microsoft products until I had an Xbox. And they have taken that Xbox console and the cool factor of it and have shoved it ass backwards right back into Windows and corporate and Cortana voice analysis and Azure clouds and all that other crap. They have shoved it back into that corporate suit and tie businessman Windows Xbox PC guys. That's what they've done. And that's what is grinding my gears. Like, they have taken all the things that are cool about them and have become awkward. And they lost that cool factor. Sony got it back. Sony got their groove back. Nintendo had it, and now they're getting their groove. And it's going to happen as next generation. And when we look at Xbox in E3, it's going to be all this fluff and bullshit.
Not playing to win is like sleeping with your sister. Sure, she's a great piece of tail with a blouse full of goodies, but it's just illegal.
Ain't it true? You got to play to win. And they have retreated, and they have turned it into a cloud battle, which nobody asked for that. Just make some great games on the hardware that I bought and show me the power of this system. And they're going to have a hard time doing that because there's going to be a lot of tech shit thrown around, but you got to know in the back of your mind, they are not making content for that hardware that they're trying to sell you. They're not making content specifically for that hardware to maximize that potential. So you hear that fan boot up and you get eye-bleeding graphics. You get amazing things that you're like, how is this being done? That is not going to happen when they have to deal with PC and console and streaming. And the streaming is based off of old Xbox One S's. Like, it is so confusing. And Brian V, I will agree. That is the problem. Too many empty promises. They are talking all this stuff, but have not spoken about games. How do you talk about Windows gaming and not talk about what games you're bringing? And it's Windows gaming. Windows gaming, you want to know what that is? Solitaire. Windows gaming to me, what is it? The bomb mine thing. The mine dungeon or whatever the hell that comes in there. Like, Windows gaming sounds boring. Microsoft gaming sounds boring. And you call them Xbox Game Studios, but they make games for the mobile phone. It's Minesweep. There you go. Minesweep and Solitaire is Windows Gaming. Like, come on.
And that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
We will see. We will see at E3. And just to shift records and enough of this build, because I when I see Satya come out there and talk, I just want to put my fist through the screen because it is so annoying and frustrating because it's all just. There's been a lot of critics about him and the fact that he talks a good talk, but when it comes to application, it fails. They've been talking about this stuff for a long time. They've been talking about HoloLens and showing those demos for what? 3 years? 4 years? 3 years they've been showing those HoloLens of people pinching asses in the air? They've been showing that shit? Has anybody seen one in any game? I haven't seen one. No, I'll tell you something so interesting. I saw HoloLens 3 years ago at PAX East that a school was using it for development. Guess what? I have never seen the HoloLens ever since at PAX, ever, anymore, except 3 years ago. Know why? Because nobody's making stuff for it. Because nobody, that's a bogus future. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. How are you going to sell that to a teacher when somebody else needs to buy a $3,000 device? You're going to buy them for a classroom with 30 children, 30 kids, 30 people, 30 adults? You're going to spend, what, $3,000 of your school budget on each headset? Come on. This is pie in the sky bullshit. Simple models, low depth, low field of view. Stop shoving HoloLens down everybody's face. I don't give a shit if it's HoloLens 4 or 5. You need it. Sony and all of them were right, going for gaming first and virtual reality. That's where you go, the hardcore. You don't go to a school. You don't go to a corporation that has a budget. You don't go to those. You go to gaming. Virtual reality is gaming. And then you build from there. That's where the money is. That's where the growth is. You don't go to a corporation that says, oh, guys, we got a $100,000 budget this year. Well, HoloLens is out. How much is that? Oh, well, you got to go buy 50 of them. What? Yeah, those guys are not going to front that kind of money for unexplored technology. You got to have proof of concepts and not with this little shit. The problem is they don't have the developer support for it to even show the stuff. They're showing the same crap every year. And now they got the power of the cloud. This cloud is all. You know what? We saw what the cloud did with Crackdown. Is anybody impressed?
Doesn't that bother any of you because it scares the living piss out of me?
All the talk about the cloud, and we saw Crackdown. I can't even get into a game right now in Crackdown 3.
A huge cloud of shit. Wow. God, I think I smell it. Come on, let's go.
It has to work. And stop talking about it. You got to demonstrate it. It needs to work. Crackdown 3 needed to show how cloud worked, and it didn't. It was a joke. And devs are not going to jump on board. They didn't do it with Windows. They didn't do it with the Windows 10 store. And then when they don't do it, when the devs are not there, that's the gasoline for the car. Microsoft just shuts it up. They just shut it down. Oops, sorry. Windows gaming. Yeah, oops. The only problem is that this oops has affected us gamers with the Xbox platform. It has decreased the demand to own one. You hear so many people that say, I own a PlayStation. I just play the exclusives over there. Case in point, done. Thank you. Like, thanks. That's the point. I don't give a shit if you're an Xbox fan or not. The fact that you own a PlayStation to play their games, thank you. Like, that's the point. Go ask a Nintendo or PlayStation guy, do you own an Xbox for their games? And they're going to be like, why? That's not good. And that's not good to have in the next generation. The message next generation, and Microsoft could announce a Phil Spencer box that he'll hand deliver it to you. The message next generation. I'm going to tell you the next message for Xbox Anaconda and Xbox Scarlets and Asses and whatever the hell it's called is going to be, you don't need one. It's going to be worse than 2013. The message all over social media would be, you don't need it. And that is not a good starting point for a next generation console that's trying to sell for $400 or $500 for somebody to go, you don't need it. But they got some good games. Those games, you could play them right now on this, on the stuff that you already own. You don't need that. And they're going to have a hard hill to climb. Because that's going to be the message. And they built this house. They're going to have to live in it. And that's the biggest thing in my head to try to get over. It's like, how do you contemplate buying an Xbox? Like, how would I walk out with an Xbox Anaconda if there are no games specifically for that device? How can I justify spending $500 on that thing if there is no game specific to that device? That all the games that come out on that I could try on my phone with a strap on, or I could play them on a PC. Nonetheless, I don't have to invest in a game. I could just subscribe and just have it. Why would you spend $500 for a box where you don't even technically own the games that are on it? It's just a subscription box. That's like me saying, well, I'm going to go buy my cable box. Why would you buy a cable box? How many of you own a cable box? Did you buy one? Because without the subscription, the cable box is useless. So how would you invest that much money in hardware where not only the games not exclusively built for the specific hardware, not only are games just subscribed to that you don't really technically own them, you're just subbing for them and they'll pull them out whenever they want. And needs to be hooked up to the internet that without any content that things dead. Like, that's a tall order. And that's a challenge. I can't wait to see how they address it. Because this whole kumbaya stuff is not going to help them move consoles. And that's when I was excited. E3 for me was sell me a console. Sony did it to me 2 years ago. I was like, oh shit, oh whoa. Okay. Sell me a console. That's your speech. And when I heard what Phil said, like, oh, it's going to be about gaming and, you know, we represent gaming and stuff like that. No, you should be like, this is Xbox time to shine. This is where we're going to show why you need an Xbox as we get into the next generation and why Xbox and the Xbox One X is the best place to play all your games now and moving forward. Thank you, Phil. That's what he should say. You're on an Xbox show. There's no PR. There was Major Nelson there. There was a rehearsed thing. You could have said something like that. You don't, it's not CNN. It's not all this stuff. You could have said something like that. At least make people who are watching Inside Xbox feel good. It's like Inside E3 is going to be about Xbox and why it's the best place to play all your games. And Xbox is where it is. We're going to be bringing games. They only play it out. Like, he should be selling out himself. Instead, he's like, we look at it as a way for gaming. And we represent gaming. And we're going to have a lot of people there that are going to be watching it. And we're going to be doing it for gaming. Gaming for everyone. Gaming for every device. Wherever you go. Good luck. You're going to need it. Because I don't know 5 years from now if Xbox is even going to be associated with I don't even know what it's going to be. I hope it doesn't go the way of Groove Music. But they have legitimately just decreased demand for their hardware. And that's it. They have not done anything to grow their hardware install base. And I agree. Wound Up Penguin. They're not bothering selling consoles anymore. So if they're not bothered in selling consoles, then I don't buy the console. And that's the whole point. If they don't care about selling it, why would you go buy it? Walk up to a lemonade stand, and the kid behind it was like, "Yeah, have some lemonade. I don't care. I don't care. Is it good lemonade? I don't know. Here, have a lemonade." Would you buy it? You walk into Best Buy and look at that TV. Samsung representative is standing there looking at a $1,500 TV. What do you think about this TV? Is this good? I don't care. It is what it is, man. Isn't that like one of the biggest complaints that people have when they go to a store? Is that the salesperson wasn't knowledgeable. The salesperson didn't care to sell me the product. When you go to a car dealership, you know, would it have their enthusiasm? Did they want to sell you the product? Did they tell you why this one's better than this one? Yeah. Right? So tell me how many times you would buy something if somebody was just like that. But anyway, guys, this is Jez7780. What grinds my gears. I'm glad to be back. I'm going to be doing some more stuff. Hope you enjoyed the show. And anyway, thank you very much. Share the video, like, subscribe. And I'm back, boys and girls. And my sound box is ready to go. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. I appreciate the support. And I am out. Thank you.